Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life Stories. Today is a very special episode for me. Number one, this is the 1 year anniversary of my podcast. This week, I will have been doing this for a year, which to me is a really big deal. I started doing this for fun. It's taken a completely different turn than I anticipated, but I love what I'm doing and I love it even more now than I did when I started. So I'm having so much fun. Today, I wanted to Number one, bring back the word of the week.
It's the word of the week.
It's time for the word of the week. And this week, the word is admiration. The woman that I got to talk to on the podcast today, I have such admiration for. Her name is Kimberly Spencer, and she is the creator of Behind Her Brand. If you've heard me on here for any length of time or you know me personally, her name or Behind Her Brand come up in conversation a lot because I spend a lot of time online talking to these people, learning from them, listening to the content that she's providing, looking for advice and prayer and whatever I need to help me keep going and doing what I'm doing. So I could not think of a better person to talk to today for my 1 year anniversary than Kimberly. So if you've noticed, my logo is a little bit different. I've changed it a little bit. And the music, if you have followed the podcast for any amount of time, you'll notice that the music is different. And the music was created by my son. My oldest son is a musician. He's incredibly talented. And I asked him if he would write some music for me for my intro and outro, and he did. And I'm so thankful. I love it so much. So I hope you enjoy our conversation. Kimberly is an amazing woman. If you are a woman entrepreneur, I encourage you to look up Behind Her Brand online and get involved because I promise it's not just a bunch of ladies, talking about their businesses. This is a great community of women who help each other out and really stay connected. So thanks for listening. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. Next week is a big deal to me because
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a year. I can't believe it's been a year already. And,
Yeah.
um, you know, like I told you, I wanted it to be a special, I call them conversations, not interviews.
Yes.
I wanted it to be a
Yeah.
special conversation because it's a big deal to me that it's been a year.
Yeah.
And, the conference really was a catalyst for me. I had already started my podcast, but
Yeah.
I just learned so much. I got connected. Like I felt like that was just the launching pad for me
I love
to
that.
go and do how much I've done. And so
Yeah.
um I want to talk to you because I know a little bit about your story, but I want to talk to you about
Mhm.
why you started Behind Her Brand and
Oh, yeah.
where did the idea even come from and what are your
Hmm.
goals for it?
Yeah. One of the reasons why I mainly started, I've been maybe about over 20, ugh, now it's 26 years. I've been working with a lot of different women, just period. And there was a season of time where it seemed like everybody that I was working with, they would come into the office and the intention is always to work on their business and stuff. But what
Hmm.
started happening, it felt like they took off their mask and they were
Yeah.
sharing things that were really happening in their lives, things that they were really feeling. And it was always beautiful conversations, beautiful moments. But what I started to notice that when they went back out into the world, it was almost like they put them back on because they felt like
Hmm.
they needed to put the mask back on.
Yeah.
And I just saw it over and over and over, but it was causing so much turmoil for people. It was causing depression. It was causing, for some, suicidal thoughts. It was causing so many different
Mm.
things because they were like two different people. And
Right.
so I just remember just kind of sitting there and I was just like, Lord, what do I do with this? Because it started to really bother me a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
why is there that need of I'm not good enough, or so and so is so much more successful than I am, and maybe they're prettier than I am, and maybe they're more educated. It was like all these different questions that were flying all the time.
Hmm.
And so we started a book series actually in
Oh,
2015
okay.
called Behind Her Brand.
Okay.
And that just took off. Within probably about a year and a half, we interviewed over 200 women globally, like from all
Wow.
United States to Africa to Canada, Switzerland. I mean, it just became a thing that just took off. It was intended to
Wow.
be one book. But and what we started to do was we had the books, but we also had events with them, every single book.
Okay.
And what started happening was conversations,
Hmm.
women sharing publicly, like, I struggle with this. And
Hmm.
it became like a healing kind of thing. So book launches were very emotional, but also fun.
Right.
And we were doing about maybe almost 30 a year, no joke. And it became a lot.
Wow. How did I not
And
know this?
but it was all over. And the cool thing about it was it started off as one thing, like with business women that we were featuring, but
Hmm.
then we would have Latina women say, can we do it just for the Latina professionals in this area? We had women who were in STEM and said, can we do it for our women because we're struggling too? So it even started
Right.
becoming segmented. And we just found that people were finding healing, and not just with
Wow.
women, but honestly, even with marriages. We had husbands that would come, and I
Oh
had
my
many
goodness.
husbands come up to me and they're just like, I didn't know my wife was feeling this way, and I didn't know that she
Yeah.
was doing XYZ. So it's my long-winded answer to that, but it just became a thing where we saw how sharing, honestly, people's
Yeah.
journeys became something healing for them. And then it became more empowering too. So
Yeah. Is that
yeah.
where you got the idea for the magazine? Like, did it go from the book to the idea for the magazine or?
No, what's so funny about that? We had did the books for a number of years,
Hmm.
and I started going through a life transition. So I was like, okay, I had a big event.
Hmm.
We had over 110 women come. I was ending behind her brand. I made a big announcement, and everybody was coming out, and it was a beautiful event. And I went through my big transition, and I was on the beach in San Diego, and God said, do it again. And I was like, well, I just had an event last year, closing it out. Like we were having this talk, like, wait a minute. Um,
Right.
and it was so funny because I was like, a book again, and when he gave me the image of the magazine, I didn't see that coming because I had zero experience in anything magazine.
Yeah.
But what he was showing me was to show more of the behind the scenes, show more about who they are
Right.
as women. And so that's kind of how that got birthed. And it was literally me and him growing it. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. Well, the magazine, I love the fact that you don't put the magazine online
Yeah.
because then people can't just, go and look at all of them online. But the magazine is beautiful. And I'm
Yeah.
not just
Thank
saying
you.
that because I was in it. It's beautiful. The pictures are
Thank you.
gorgeous. All of it. The articles are
Yeah.
great. I mean, it's awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. I love
Thank
telling
you.
people about it. So do you feel like so you did all the books and
Mm-hmm.
then you started back up with the magazine and then
Yeah.
this year was the first conference. Did you
Yes.
what was your dream for the conference for this year?
Oh, what? I didn't go into it with any expectations because we've done conferences for about 10 years in my other business.
Uh-huh.
And for this one, it's the first one that I wasn't front and center. And so
Oh.
this was really a unique experience because the other ones I never had guest speakers. I do 2-day workshops.
Oh
And so it was
wow.
just me for 8 hours each day.
Yeah.
So this one, it was no expectations going into it. I
Hmm.
wanted it to really be about the women there, and I love
Yeah.
that aspect. It was a different feel for me.
Yeah.
But my hope and my prayer was that women walked out feeling and gaining something. I'm a big believer in that I don't want it to just be like a rah rah or feel good
Right.
necessarily, but I want it to be something that they walk out and feel like this made a difference in my life in some
Yeah.
capacity. And so that was my overall intention and dream for it. And I feel like we've accomplished some of that with
Oh,
the
definitely.
conference. Yeah.
I remember, so Lisa Pulliam sponsored me to go to the
Hmm.
conference, and I
Yeah.
really did not know Lisa that much. Do you know her
Hmm.
sister, Kristen? I don't know if you've
No, I
met
never met
Kristen.
her. Mm-mm.
So Kristen's husband and my husband went to physical therapy school in the late 90s. So I've known
Oh,
Kristen for
cool.
almost 30 years. And I
Yeah.
saw that Lisa, there was on Facebook, there was a women's conference coming up in my
Hmm.
area, and Lisa was a speaker. And so I met her because I went there. So I had
Yeah.
not known her a few weeks. And we had met for coffee after the conference, and she was asking me about my podcast. And she said, okay, I really feel like I need to give you a ticket to this conference. And I was
Hmm.
honored that she would do that. I was
Yeah.
flattered, that she would sponsor me. But I thought, they're going to all be women who have been doing this for
Hmm.
years and they know what they're doing. And I am brand new and I don't know anything. And I just
Yeah.
don't know how much it's going to help me. But that first, I mean, like hour we were there,
Hmm.
I don't remember what we were talking about, but you spoke probably first, I would think.
Yeah.
And then you
Hmm.
had us at the table kind of
Yeah.
talking. And I could have left after that. I learned so much just talking to the women at my table.
Yeah.
I just felt empowered just from that. So 2 days
Hmm.
of listening to these women speak, and they were speaking life, and they were not
Yeah.
just talking about what all they knew, they were helping and giving advice. And
Hmm.
it was huge for me. So, and I'm just one person. I know that everybody
Yeah.
probably felt that way. So I love it. And I've been honestly, your name and behind her brand come up in every conversation I have with
Oh,
everybody. They're probably so tired of hearing about it because that's all I talk about.
oh,
But I'm
oh,
so thankful. I'm thankful
Yeah.
for what I'm learning, in the
Hmm.
group that we have. You put out incredible
Yeah.
content that's helpful. It's not just
Thank you.
nice things to say. You're helpful.
Yeah.
You really are equipping women who are
Thank you.
entrepreneurs and business owners.
Mhm.
And I'm just thankful for
Yeah.
all of it. So
Oh, thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
it so much. So do you ever feel intimidated or afraid of anything that you are doing? You don't
Of
seem like someone
course.
that would be intimidated. Like you just seem very confident to me. Like you
Oh
don't
my gosh.
ever be intimidated by anything.
It's so not true.
Oh, well, you
You
hide
know
it
what?
well.
You know what? Even going into everything that we do, um, I think there's always that sense of, is it going to be good? Is it going to be
Right.
great? Is it going to be helpful? Because I'm just a huge believer. I really want to be helpful because I being in the business as long as I've been in, I always hear how women go to events and they don't get anything,
Right.
or they're connected in circles and they feel kind of like they're lonely. And that's a big common thing, that a lot of people in business feel lonely.
Yeah.
And I'm always like feeling like, am I putting out things that are worthy? Is it good? Is it,
Mm.
all these different kind of things. And whenever we host events, oh, my husband can tell you, I'm like always like that whole every so often, like, inadequacy kind of comes up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to be this? Is it going to be that? And sometimes I have to shake those feelings off.
Yes.
Um, and it's still there. And actually, at the conference, I was a little bit more nervous speaking in front of this audience, because now I've done this for 10 years, okay?
Right.
But it's different when I'm in my marketing and branding headspace, and like, and
Right.
that's I'm like, okay, this is my safety zone. But
Yeah.
going into a room and now it's a broader topic and different kind of thing. And I know I'm passionate about it, but it was a different kind of playing field. It was a little nerve-wracking.
Really.
And so I just kind of worked through it, to be honest with you. Like, I have
Yeah.
my nerves sometimes. And you may not know this, but at every event, and it's like, it drives my team crazy. I'm always sometimes nervous, even how God will shift something. Most of
Yeah.
the, like, second day of the event, half those sessions were not planned at all.
Oh, wow.
Because it was, and even like with Lisa going up there and different
Yeah.
people, like, that was not planned. It was like, it just felt in that moment, okay, I need you to do this. She's like,
Yeah.
okay. Or, just telling people to go on. And those things always make me nervous because I don't know how people are going to receive it. And,
Right.
but I always go with what I feel in my gut, always go. And
Well, it
so,
works, and I would not have at all have thought that you were intimidated
right.
or bothered by
Oh,
any of that, because I mean, it all flowed. My aunt, right after I walked out the door, my aunt that you met,
yeah.
so she was going to travel to visit a friend from out of state, and I said, whenever you get her, FaceTime me because I want to talk to her. Well, right
Yeah.
after I walked out after the second day, she FaceTimed me like I'm walking out, and she tells
Yeah.
everybody she was glowing when she left. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
just felt so empowered and so encouraged to continue doing and to grow.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it was a big deal to me. So I'm excited about the next
Yeah.
conference. I think
No, I
it's going to
appreciate you
be
saying that.
bigger and better, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing about all that you're doing right now? Are you still doing
Mm,
other businesses
mm.
besides
Oh,
behind her brand? Oh yeah.
I run four. Yeah, I still
Oh
run
my
four
goodness.
full time. Yeah,
See, you are
I do.
busy.
Yeah.
That's why I always feel
Yeah, I
bad
still run
bothering you.
four. No, you're never bother. Honestly, but I still run all of them. But I think it's become so second nature for each of them, that is, and we have team members that help run each of them in different
Oh, okay.
capacities.
Yeah.
So that helps out a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're still building, still growing, and still putting things out there. Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing about all that you're doing right now? What is
Oh,
your
what's been fun for us is putting out more information about women that people may not be aware of.
uh-huh.
That to me is always a fun thing, because there's so many amazing resources out there. And a lot of what you said earlier is how a lot of women feel like, either I'm new. We always get the statement, "Well, anyone really care what I'm doing?" And it's
Right.
always fun to me whenever we can share, like, here's a new resource, here's a new organization, or here's a new podcast, and people like listen and they get something from it, or
Yes.
maybe they reach out to that person and they connect in some kind of way. Like, it's
Yeah.
so fun seeing how many of you all are tagging each other and supporting each other and all of
Yes.
that, because that's to me what real connection is and real networking
Yeah.
looks like,
Yeah.
when it's not about the event. It's like you met at the event, but you really were intentional in building it outside of that. That
Yes.
to me is so fun to see, or getting tagged in pictures sometimes when people are going to lunch and I'm like, oh my God, they met at the event. It's
Yes.
fun. And that to me brings me so much joy. It really does.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had, you know, a few of the people that I met that weekend on the podcast, and I have talked to Michelle Goddard a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't meet at the conference though. We were both there,
Yeah.
but we didn't meet. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to hug her neck because we've talked a lot since then, because she's just one of those, you know, she is a great
Mm-hmm.
supporter of her friends, and
Yeah.
she prays for them. And I love that. And what I love about the community, I know it starts from the top. I know it starts from
Yeah.
you, but people
Thank
are
you.
supporting each other. They are, I mean,
Mhm.
really supporting, not just saying nice things.
Yeah.
They're buying, you know, products that they're selling, or they're
Yes.
helping out with reviews, or they're doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with you. Like, you've
Yeah.
created this
Thank you.
incredible environment for women to do that, to want to be
Yes.
connected and encourage each other. So
Yeah.
I love it. I'm just
Thank you.
so thankful for it. Like I said, it goes, it comes up in every conversation. It
No,
really,
but I appreciate that because one thing it's like there's a couple ladies in the group y'all have never heard from, and I always
mhm,
like poke them, and 'cause I know them, and they're very shy and very introverted, and it's funny because they won't say a peep, but they're growing in their own way because they have
right.
their own stuff, and it's part of their story
Yeah,
of even things that they've gone through, hurt with women, hurt with other things,
right.
and so they're feeling encouraged watching, which might
Yeah,
seem odd to some people, but for some people their journeys are very different, and they just need to
absolutely.
see that they can be safe. And I venture to believe they're all signed up for the conference, so you'll probably see them step out more.
Yes.
But what you said makes so much sense because um, watching people in real action, real
Yeah.
community, really talking with each other. Like Michelle, I met her through Tracy, and
Yes.
we talk often. And Rachel, I was thinking about
Yes.
all the different ladies, like I met them through another person, and it's just to me, you want to be what you say you're going to be. I can't say I'm
Right.
gonna connect and not really reach out to people. And so I
Right.
just think that's what community really needs to look like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, did you say a while ago that there are men that are a part of this group, or were you
No.
talking about men
Mm-mm.
in the other? There's not men in this group, right?
No, there's no men in this
Okay,
group.
I
No,
didn't
no
think
other
so.
women. I'm sorry, women.
I didn't think so. I thought I saw a
Yeah.
man commenting on something, but
Oh
maybe I
yes.
didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a former pastor, not of mine, but a good friend. He comments on
Okay.
all of my social
Oh,
media, but his wife is a part of it, and his entire
okay.
staff. They always come to everything, so he
Okay.
pays for them to come to everything.
Oh, okay. I just
Yeah.
wondered. I thought, huh, maybe there are guys in this. I didn't know. Okay.
But I
Oh,
will say this though, we had a lot of men after the last conference. My husband could tell you, even with Michelle presented, it was so funny how many men said, "Could we come with our wives, or can
oh,
we
wow.
do something with wives and husbands?" And
Yeah.
we've had men come to our conferences before.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like a sponge. They love it. But I told them, I said, primarily women need a space to just kind of just be
Yes.
ourselves, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. My husband didn't ask that if he could come. I'm not going to offer.
Right. And I told all of them, I'm not doing that yet. That's not something that I
Right.
feel called to do, but
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys, love that your wives enjoyed it.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just love everything that you're doing. And, you know, like I said, when I went to the conference, I wasn't sure how it was going to help and whatever, but I will tell you, I felt included from the very beginning. Even though I didn't know, really, I didn't even know Lisa that well, and I didn't know anybody
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
but I felt included, not
Mhm.
just, you know, okay, you here, you have a ticket or whatever.
Right.
I felt, no, I really did. I felt included. I
Thank
felt
you.
like, okay, these people really do care about the women
Mhm.
that are here, and they really do want to help. And
Yeah.
so I'm so
Yeah.
excited about the conference in March. I
Me
can't
too.
wait. Can't wait to go. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Um, what are we looking at, like size wise? Do you have like double or triple
Oh.
the people that are coming? What last
The first month that we put it out there, we actually hit 50% of what we had last time in like the first month. And so,
Wow.
and right now it's teeter off a little bit. It always does that. It ebbs and flows. And so, because when we get closer to the holiday season,
Yeah.
but it's our first time having this strong of a start,
Yeah.
in this way. I was like, because usually we get like a huge influx like right before, like a month or two beforehand,
Right.
but we're hoping to almost close it out by Christmas. So that's our goal,
Oh
so we
my
can just focus really
goodness.
just on content and just the whole experience.
Yeah.
That's our goal, but we'll see what happens.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I said after this first one, I thought we need to have a reunion just from the people that came to the
No.
first one. That would be so cool if we could do that. I know
Yeah.
everybody's very spread out though. That would be hard to do.
No, that's the biggest thing. People always ask me, is it all in Texas? And I was like, you'd be surprised. I
Oh
said,
yeah,
even
there's
the ladies that signed up right now, gosh, we were looking at the other day, maybe 60% are not even in Texas. Yeah,
wow.
they're coming from New York this time,
Oh my
California.
goodness.
Like friends of Texas who came last time were sharing with other women, and so people just started
Right.
signing up, and I was like so shocked. I was like, wow. I said it's really coming more outside, and my Texas women
Yes.
usually sign up usually the last minute,
Yeah.
but it's funny how right now it's majority out of state. Hmm.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah,
60%. That's a lot. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know I didn't know Shannon didn't live in the area, and I was so excited to
No,
meet her the other day at the thing, and I was like, she's in Georgia? I thought she was in
yeah.
Dallas or something. Yeah,
No, my
so I'm
full
looking
team,
forward to meeting them.
honestly. No, I've never had but one person actually live in my same city. Like our whole team,
Isn't
we had a
that
lady for
funny?
17 years. They all lived in different areas and we just meet up a couple of times a year face to face.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really neat. I
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned with all of
Hmm.
this is to think bigger.
Yeah.
Y'all, you and the content that you've provided with talking to Linda
Hmm.
Hollander, um, you just encourage everybody to think bigger. And I realize how small I think, how small of a scale, because I
Hmm.
think I'm just this little podcast and don't
Yep.
have that many listeners. And you've just really encouraged me to think. So when we set our 30-day goal,
Yes.
I'm doing it every day. And
Yes.
some of the people that I'm reaching out to, nobody has said no,
Hmm.
but people either say yes or they don't respond at all.
Right.
So a lot of people haven't responded, but that's okay.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yesterday, I don't know how much you probably read like
I read
important
a
books.
lot.
So there's a series of fiction books that I started reading in a book club that I was in before we moved here a few years ago. There's 8 books total.
Hmm.
After the seventh book, like I finished the seventh book and then the author died like right after that
Mm.
seventh book.
Wow.
And there were a lot of questions that, all the readers had about the first 7 books. And her son, um, before she died, because she had been sick for a long time, her son
Hmm.
worked with her and he promised that he would finish the last book. These are like 500-page books. I mean, they're huge
Yeah.
fiction. The stories are incredible, incredible.
Yeah.
So I thought, I just read the 8th book like a few months ago, and I thought it'd be really cool to talk to him on my podcast
Hmm.
because I read all the books. Our book club read them.
Yeah.
So I emailed him and I just, very short email. This is me. I have a podcast. I'd love to talk to you about your mom and about blah, blah, blah. He emailed me this morning and said, can you talk tomorrow at 9 o'clock? So I'm talking to him. He's in England, talking to him in the morning
Um,
at 9 o'clock. I guess
oh
I
my
didn't expect him
goodness.
to say yes.
Yeah. No,
I
but that is so cool.
got shocked, but I thought I
Yeah.
would not have even thought about doing
Yeah.
something like that
Yeah.
had I not been so influenced in
Mm.
what I'm
Hmm.
learning every day from everybody. Everybody's
Yeah.
dreaming bigger and thinking bigger and doing bigger things. And I would
Yes.
not have even thought about doing that or thought it was even a
Oh,
possibility. So
right.
thank you for making
No,
me
you're
think
so
bigger and it just, purify my imagination.
love that.
Anyway, I'm amazed. God, I'm just amazed at what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for everything you're doing and that I get to be
Thank
a
you.
part of it. It's a
Of
big deal.
course. I love it. And I'm glad that you are. And like, if I can say this, one of the most important things that you do, and I think this is why you're growing the way that you are, is because you're actually doing something. Even when you felt like, well, should I be there? Should I not? The fact that you're showing up every single day and still learning and being open to learning, I think that's the
Right.
biggest thing that most people don't do is that first step. And I
It
see so many
is.
women who are like, well, I don't have the resources, I don't have this, I don't have that. And they keep themselves in that mindset and they don't
Yeah.
move. And you haven't done that. Even when you've had some ups and downs in the journey, you're still showing
Yeah.
up every single day. And that's why you're growing bigger.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm thankful. I mean, God is just he's just
Yeah.
done incredible things and it's, you are a part of that and I appreciate it
Thank
so
you.
much. So thank you so much for
No,
talking to
thank
me
you.
today. I'm
Of
excited for you this
course.
weekend. I'm praying for y'all
Yes.
that it's
Thank
a
you.
blessing to everybody and you come back refreshed and not
Yes.
exhausted. Not too
And I,
exhausted.
I said, I said, my goal is that we are all going to get some rest, but
Yes.
just connection and not just being in sessions all day. So we're definitely not
Yes.
doing that.
Yes, I'm glad. Well, it's going to be
Yes.
wonderful. I can't wait to hear about it. As jealous as I
Thank
am, I can't wait to hear about it.
next
But
year for
really,
sure.
yes, thank you so much for talking to me
Oh, you're
today.
welcome.
I
No,
appreciate it.
thank you.
All righty.
All right,
I'll
talk
talk
to you
to you later.
later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.